To do a flip through of the Writer's Toolbox. So this is a book that is required as part of our Beowulf language arts. I think you could use it just standalone. You don't have to use it as part of a curriculum. But with us using it as part of a curriculum, the way we're using it is different than the way it is in here, which I'll just explain as we go along. But basically, this book covers letters, fairy tales, scary stories, journals, poems, and reports. It's all super nicely illustrated, really bright colours, fun graphics. So in here, as I said, we've got letters, fairy tales, scary stories, journals, poems, and reports. And here's your table of contents. So each little piece starts out with a explanation. So for example, this is the writing your own fairy tale, so it gives you an explanation as to what they are. And then it starts off telling you a fairy tale. And then in the corner, you'll see there's a tool section where they're asking you to focus on a specific element of the story. So in this case, it's the setting, and they're explaining to you what the setting is and from a general point of view, so for any type of story, and then it relates it back directly to the Little Red Riding Hood story that you're currently reading. Then we move on to characters and plot, and again, the illustrations are really engaging. Moving on to dialogue, warnings, and then talking about fairy tales contain magic and what kind of objects they might be, particularly in this story or in generally speaking. And then often the characters have certain traits, so in this case we're talking about greed. And then repetition. Just giving them lots of tools to think about, to include when they're actually writing their own. So it's basically walking them through, showing them an actual example, and then some information to consider for when they're writing their own. Then at the end we have a review section, so it goes through the 13 tools and tells you about them again, which I really like. And then it's got some activities here. So we've got getting started exercises. So it's asking you to look at objects, pick one, talk about what special powers it might have, pick 1 or 2 words from the following list, and could they be starting points for a story. And then there's also some writing tips. So when we used this in the past, when we weren't using it as part of Beowulf, we used it as free Torchlight, and Torchlight just told you to do the exercises in here. So we didn't do all of the pages because obviously, as with their curriculum, they only pick certain elements. So in Torchlight, it was just pick a couple of exercises for each. I think we did fairy tale, and there was one other. So we just did the exercises over here, and they were great, no problem at all. But the way we're using it now is in Beowulf Language Arts, she'll ask you to read certain pages, and then she'll give you an exercise to do that's completely different than in here. So it's not one of these exercises, but this is sort of your reference guide to then help you do her writing activity. So we are using it slightly differently this time, but I have used it as it suggests in here with these exercises, and it was great. We really enjoyed it. So the next one is writing your own letter. So it gives you an actual letter here. And then you've got your starting points of heading, greeting, etc. It goes through the different pieces. So we talk about heading and greeting, and gives you an example. The body, closing, and signature. And I really like how they pair it with an actual activity or an example. I think that just makes it really clear, and also you can actually practice what you're doing as well. So we're going through each different section of the letter. The envelope. You have your review section again, and then some exercises and your writing tips. Now we're on to writing a poem. So you get the idea. But I do like the way we are using it now, because we're not actually we're reading it through in here, and then looking at the examples and everything, but we are doing our own writing piece that's in the same genre or style of writing, but not actually the ones that are in here. So I do actually really like the way we are doing it now, but like I say, I did have no problems using the activities in here, and I thought they were quite engaging and interesting. But you can also obviously make up your own. You don't have to use the ones that they've got in here. You can just use this as an example, and then for the fairy tale one, for example, then you can set them off to write their own, so you don't have to use the exercises. But I thought they were great anyway. There was no problems with them. And then again, you've got your activities. And then I'm just going to skip through to the last one. So this is the last one, writing your own research report. Again, we're talking about topic, sources of information, brainstorming, notes, outline, the introduction, the body, topic sentence, sentence variety, conclusion, and then revision, proofreading, and bibliography. And these again show you an example. You get to do your review section and your exercises. Okay, so I hope that was helpful for you. If you've got any questions, definitely let me know, and I will see you in our next video. Thanks for watching. Take care.